few things that you should know before you move to university, or some tips and little advice that I've learned over the last 2 years. Don't pack everything in your wardrobe. Think about some of the clothes that you wear a lot. Think of things that you can layer up as well, because I think that's one thing that I kind of feel like I've mastered now, is layering up my clothes, and that saves a lot of time. You could have a t-shirt and a hoodie and then a coat, like just layer it up like that instead of bringing, I don't know, 40 tops, long sleeve tops. You can layer it up like that. And I would say one thing that I found useful is having some turtlenecks. Turtlenecks are just a lifesaver because they're so easy and they actually keep you warm, especially if it gets really cold. It's just good to have a turtleneck. Oversized t-shirts are always good, and hoodies and jumpers are good as well. Just have loads of hoodies, or you could just have 2 hoodies and just change them every week or something, but I would definitely recommend bringing that. Buying some storage boxes for your actual room. I think this helps with organizing your room a bit, and it also helps you to put things in certain areas in the room instead of just having them everywhere in your room, you know. So for example, you could have something for snacks or something like that, so you know, just crisps, Doritos, all that stuff in a box. You could have a laundry type of box, you can have detergent in there. That makes life easier for yourself, and it actually saves time, especially if you're going to do laundry or something. You can quickly just grab it it's in the same box. And I also would say, if you're doing an art and design subject like I am, it's really good to have a storage box with just all your materials and stuff in there, because that just makes life easier. Especially before you go into the studio or something, you can just grab all the stuff you need. Make sure you have a laundry basket that is easy to carry, because you're going to be carrying it to the laundry room if you have one in your accommodation, which quite a lot do. So it's kind of useful to have something that is quite strong that you can carry around yourself, and you can just get that online. I switched from like having physical detergents to having those like pod ones. It made life a bit easier for me because the detergent would always end up going everywhere and it was just really messy. Having those little pod detergent ones, you know, that you put in the laundry, makes life easier for yourself. Some accommodation rooms don't have a mirror. Check the website where you're going to be staying for university. Storage wise, it depends on, again, your room. You might have quite a big cupboard, you might have quite a small one. I think for my foundation year I had quite a small cupboard, and I found it quite useful to have this thing, and I'm gonna try and find it online, but I kind of hooked it to where all the hangers were, and basically it had sections in it so I could add more clothes in there. But it's not essential, but just check and make sure that you have enough storage, so maybe bring some extra hangers or something. I used Noah's box. It gives you some plates, it gives you cutlery, it can give you duvet covers. It basically gives you all the essential stuff that you need. It's already sealed and everything like that, so you can just take it with you straight to your accommodation. But it can also be delivered to your new accommodation as well if you're starting out and you are looking for somewhere to buy all of your things at one place. If you're charging a lot of things, don't charge too many things at the same time, but if you're charging a lot of things, then I recommend getting an extension cord, and I'm sure you have one in your house somewhere, so definitely just bring that with you to university because that makes life easier. A mattress protector, and always bring at least 2 sets of bed sheets and duvet covers and all of that. When you're washing one set, you can put on a fresh sheet and then just change it every week. In halls, then I definitely think that it is important to know that it will not be quiet. Like, it definitely won't be quiet all the time. It's it's impossible. There will be noise coming from somewhere. If it's not in your flat, it might be your neighboring flat, it might be on the other side in a different block, but there will always be some music or just people screaming for some weird reason. But there will always be noise. I think that's just something important to know. It's completely normal because everyone's excited, meeting new people, staying in halls. It is important to know it's not going to be dead silent. It just won't. Setting out days to do certain things. So for example, with laundry, I kind of set my day, which was Sundays or Wednesday afternoons, to do my laundry, and just make sure that you have enough clothes or enough things until that day. Like, just figure out a time that you want to go down, do your laundry, and then you can also be making dinner or tidying your room in that time period. But yeah, just plan it out so that it's not this annoying thing that you have piles of dirty clothes or something. It's good to just plan it out and have a set day. Thought about what food I eat a lot during the week, like apples, or if I had any sweets, or Bueno bars, for example, if I had something chocolatey. Something that I would normally do is get a frozen pizza or frozen fish and chips. Make sure I have that just in case I have a day where I just can't be bothered to make any food. Or if I am planning to make, for example, chili con carne, I would make enough for 2 days so that I don't have to make food the next day. I can just microwave the meal I prepared for that day. It can take a lot out of you to be making food every single day back to back. It's sometimes nice to have the same meal or just have a meal in the fridge that you can microwave. Plan in some Deliveroo, because why not? If you live in the main city and there's food that you can get, just treat yourself and have a Deliveroo or have Uber Eats or whatever it is. Just get takeaway sometimes, because I did and I do not regret it at all. But I definitely planned and made quite a lot of meals. I actually made more meals than I did last year. Like, I made lasagna from scratch, I made a few cakes and different things like that. So a good balance. And you can have loads of snacks as well, or just a few snacks. You can have healthy snacks, you can do whatever you like. But I think it can be a bit scary that when you first move to university and you've got all of this independence and you have to be making all your own food, you can always just go with the basics, just have something really simple, and yeah, just have that for a week or two. But you can always have just some pot noodles or something and just have that as your dinner, and that's it, and you snack for the rest of the evening. Honestly, it's fine. None of your flatmates are gonna judge you and think, she's not making like Gordon Ramsay type of meal. Like, no one cares, and everyone feels tired and lazy sometimes, and they just can't be bothered as well. So, and sometimes you might even make food with your flatmates, or you might organise to get takeout together or something, which is really nice. So yeah, just see it as a way to make friends with your flatmates. So this is just a bit of advice, a little bit of tips, and yeah, just me oversharing a little bit. So enjoy. Going with your gut. Especially in the first year, it can feel scary, or you can have just a lot of pressure because you really want to kind of find your people. Everyone always says at university, find your people. It can be quite draining as well, socially, just meeting so many new faces. But I think it's good to have just a balanced feeling about it. Yes, it is good to say yes and meet new people and go that way to connect and talk to people, but also don't feel bad if you have just a day where you want to just watch TV in your flat, or just FaceTime your friends and family from back home. There is no right or wrong way to make friends at university. I definitely think it's just a mix, and I think just being open and honest sometimes as well with, you know, the friends that you're starting to make, it can really be eye-opening because everyone feels the same. I know that's such a cliche thing to say, like, oh, everyone feels the same, but it really is true that everyone is going there, and even if they know people, they're still feeling that kind of like scared little feeling, like, oh, am I gonna make a friend today? A few outings with your flatmates or someone you've met on your course, you can go, but if you don't feel like it, don't beat yourself up about it. Always be an opportunity to meet those people again, or you'll meet new people. Like, you will always be meeting people no matter what, even towards the end of the year. I think especially during this pandemic, I'm going to be mentioning the pandemic a bit, but during the pandemic, obviously there was long periods of time when I wasn't even at university, so I don't even know how long I was there in total, probably just 4 or 5 months. And even towards the very end, like around June time, I was still meeting new people and introducing myself and stuff. So no matter when, whether it's in September, whether it's in June, you're always going to meet new people. You will always have a chance, and it's never too late to get to know people. If you want to go home, see your family, see your friends back home. You will just meet so many different people in different ways. It's kind of insane. It's a lot, but it's good as well. I think you just learn how to talk and make conversation with people. I definitely think there was a moment in time when I was like, I genuinely don't know how to have a conversation with anyone. I feel like I don't know what to say, but everyone feels the same and it's fine. So don't worry about it. Don't rule out hanging out with your flatmates. You might meet 1 or 2 or 5 or 8. I have no idea how many people you might live with, but you might meet a lot of people and they might be your best friends, you know. Or you might meet one person who you get on with super well, and that's just amazing as well. So don't rule out your flatmates straight away. Just, yeah, hang out with them as well, or just say hi, how are you doing, or something like that when you're in the kitchen. It's always nice to just have a small chat. Just make sure to clean up after yourself, because no one wants to live with someone who has rotten food everywhere. It's gross. Even if you don't talk with your flatmates on a, you know, normal friendly basis, and you're just kind of surface level type of friends, it's still quite important to have that level of communication. You can create a schedule to take the bins out, cleaning stoves, and just doing different things like that. There is a lot of mess sometimes. That is something to bear in mind, and that can be the same with a small group of people. But I found I prefer a smaller flat just because I think it's more chill. Like, I love meeting people, I love talking to people, but when it comes to making dinner and just doing work and things, I guess I prefer a smaller group. So just think about what situation you want to be in, because, you know, a big flat might be more sociable and more loud, whereas a smaller flat might not be as loud, but it could be. Studios can be a nice alternative because it's your own space. You know, you get your own kitchen, you get your own bed, you get an ensuite, you know, you have your own area. So I think it kind of ties into what I've been saying about what kind of flat size do you want. It's also important to think about, are you someone who just really likes their own space? Because I guess the only difference between a studio and then flats with other people is the communal areas are communal, so they have people hanging out there. So if you prefer to just have your own space and to just be social outside of where you're living, first year, it's kind of a mixture. I think I've met people who stayed in studios who loved it, stayed in studios and didn't like it, who stayed in halls, didn't like it, who stayed in halls and loved it. I think it just depends on who you are as a person. So I think it's just really important to think about what kind of where you would see yourself living for a whole year. I think for me, I definitely felt that studios might feel a bit isolating for my first year, and I didn't really want to start there, but I could see myself, you know, later on down the line, you know, in 3rd year or something, staying in a studio. I definitely wouldn't mind that. So I think it's just having that mixture alternative. I will be having a big graphic design first year video coming out soon. I'm really excited for that video, just to show all the work that I've done this year. All the best if you're starting university this coming September, or if you are thinking about going to university, and I'll see you very soon.